Hello, everyone. I am going to chit chat a little bit. I have a couple of announcements. So if you're catching the replay, just bear with me. I want to give people a time just to know that I'm here. So if they want to pop in, they can. One of the first announcements is I have a new 5-day challenge coming up in mid-March. I'm super excited about it. And it's going to be called the 5-Day Dating Reset. I will have more information out about that on Monday, and the registration link will go live then. That's my first announcement. Let me think if there are any other really big announcements. I don't think I have any other big announcements. That's it. So I am, without further ado, going to get started on our topic today. And this has been on my mind a lot lately. Every now and then I'll talk with someone who expresses interest in the mindful dating program, comes in, for a free call, and they're like, yeah, I'm not really ready to date yet. I really need to work on myself. I'm working on myself first. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So tell me a little bit about what that looks like, because I'm a big fan of working on yourself. So what are you doing? Well, I'm just taking time for me. Cool. And so what does that look like? Well, I'm just focusing on me. I'm learning to enjoy my own company. And I want to say, I think all that stuff is awesome. I think it's important to focus on yourself. It's key to be able to enjoy your own company. And it's wonderful to know that growth is necessary before you can leave one relationship and then go on to have another one that's going to be better and going to be healthy. So my problem isn't so much with the idea that people want to work on themselves or that you need to work on yourself in between relationships to heal and grow. Totally agree with that. Where I think this gets to be a little bit of a hiccup for me is that I'm not exactly convinced when I ask people, hey, what are you doing to work on yourself? Like, well, I'm just taking time for me. And they don't actually have a plan or a strategy. So there's no plan, no strategy in place. Then it's hard to know exactly what they're doing. It's sort of like if you hired a contractor and they stood around in your house and you're like, what are you going to do here? And they're like, oh, we're working on it. And all you saw them do was stand around and nothing actually changed. Nothing moved. None of the work actually got done. So when there's no strategy and there's no plan to work on the work, it doesn't get done. So if that's really where the hiccup is. There's not an actual strategy or plan. And then I might ask, so how will you know when you're ready? What's going to be like the hallmark? What will be different about you? And how will you know this is the time to open your heart to love? And well, I'll know because I'll just meet that person. I'll know because we'll click. And I'm like, wait a second. You skipped over the part where you work on yourself and then you start dating and then you meet the person. They somehow like magically think that when they get enough work done on themselves that this person's just going to show up. They're like Field of Dreamsing it, right? If I build it, they will come. If I rebuild my heart and my broken heart, they will come. And I get that 100,000%. Need to tell you, I worked on myself for a really long time and there was some actual work. Don't get me wrong. I did work and change and grow. Absolutely. I definitely learned how to be comfortable in my own company and I took time for myself. I did all that stuff, but I had no idea because I had no strategy and I had no goal what it was I was looking to see when I would be ready to date. And I see this in so many other women. Like, how do you really know when you're ready? Like, what are the things, right? How do you know when you're ready to open your heart to love? How do you know when you are a good match for healthy, lasting love? How do you know when you're emotionally available? How do you know when you can spot an emotionally available partner? Without those benchmarks, without those standards, without having a sense of what the end goal is, you don't know really when the coast is clear, so to speak. When are you a green light? When are you ready to date? Because here's the thing, it's possible that you're just going to meet your person spontaneously in a grocery store checkout line, or maybe at a community lecture, or possibly at some other community event. I used to go to all kinds of community events. I used to go to the gym. I used to do yoga. I went to concerts. I got myself out and about, and I was really hoping I was going to kind of stumble across the soulmate in one of these places and that she would recognize me because I would be somehow magically ready from all this work I did on myself. But I didn't have an idea, like a clear sense of when I'm ready, right? So when is that, and how do you do that work to get there? And I want to share this with you because I stumbled around for a really long time. I was really opposed to getting married. I wanted a partner, but I didn't want to get married. I didn't know what I really wanted. I was really confused, and I didn't know where to go for help for a long time. Except then at one point I did. The dating coach I eventually hired, she was amazing. I heard her talk about things, followed her for 5 years, and then eventually hired her. And I guess on the one hand, I was ready when I was ready, and that's cool. And that might be your case too. But just in case, I can help you move your clock up a little bit and help you find that amazing partner sooner so you have more years to enjoy them in your life. Um, I want to share a couple of things that you could start to look for in what it means to be ready. So, for one thing, you want to make sure that you're not going at dating from a place of neediness. You want to make sure you're not overly needy. You want to make sure that you're sort of stable, that you know how to keep yourself calm, that you are maybe not in need of excessive reassurance. You want to make sure you're not still bringing your woundedness out there so that you're extremely fragile, that if somebody looks at you crossways or calls 15 minutes later than they said they'd call, that you are like broken up about it. And you also kind of want to be over your toxic, bad past relationships. You don't want to bring that into this relationship. You don't want to be expecting the worst of somebody. You don't want to be guarding yourself against the worst. So you don't want to be like vigilantly looking for any sign that this person might have something at all in common with that last person. Like I did this for a long time. I didn't want to date a cyclist because my former spouse cycled and I thought he was a jackass, and I thought everybody who cycled must be a jackass. My current spouse also cycles and he's not a jackass. So I had this toxic negative past experience and I just brought it with me everywhere. And when you're busy doing that, you're really not ready to date. So you want to clean the house, right? If you're going to get a whole bunch of new furniture in your house, you need to get rid of the old furniture. So get rid of the old toxic experiences so that you are open and available for the new ones. If you're working on yourself, one of the ways you're going to know when you're ready is you're going to be 100% clear on what your emotional needs are. You're going to know, you're going to be able to ask for it, and you're going to be totally okay letting people go free when they're not in alignment with your emotional needs. And you're going to have a pretty good vision of the life that you want to create with somebody. You're going to kind of know what it's going to feel like, what it's going to look like, what your days are going to be like, how you're going to get along. You're going to know what's going to be important in terms of helping you stay connected and stay close to each other. And you're going to be able to ask for the support you need. You're going to be able to ask for friends. You're going to be able to get support from inside you, keeping your mindset good, because maybe you're not going to get lucky and meet your significant other at that community event or at that yoga class. Maybe you're going to make a couple friends that way. Maybe you won't, but you're going to need to keep your mindset up the whole time so that you're not wasting a lot of time on vanity metrics. And I just have a post about that out yesterday, and I'm going to talk more about that next week. But you are going to need to be able to get that internal support and ask for external support so that you can keep things in perspective and maintain your mindset, because otherwise the dating journey can just drive you batshit crazy. And above all, you're going to need to have a strategy to make it happen. You're just like with anything else. You don't build a house without a blueprint. You don't just grab some lumber and start slapping things together. You're going to have some sort of a strategy or an intention to make it happen, because that's how you're going to know if you're on track to get towards where you want to go. Most people I know, everybody I know, if they go on vacation, they sort of pick a destination. They don't just get in a car and drive and see what happens. They don't just go to the airport and take whatever ticket is available and get on an airplane and hope that they have the right clothes in a suitcase. You plan out your journey. And that's what you do when you want to have an enjoyable time, right? If you want to have a great vacation, you put a little thought into it. You put a little thought into where you want to go. What would be fun? How would you like that experience to go? And the same is true of dating. You sort of have an idea of what that endpoint looks like, and you have an idea of what it's going to take to get you there. So you have to have a strategy. So that's kind of the work to be done on yourself. And that, if you're working on yourself, these are all the things I would encourage you to sort of pack into your work plan. Now, of course, because these are the things I think that people should do in their plan of action to make love real in their lives, I'm going to go ahead and go through this list really quickly. You're going to want to make sure you get to a place where you're sort of more or less emotionally stable and you're not overly needy, you're not overly fragile, you're not bringing toxic past experiences into your current life, so you're not continually haunted and looking for bad things or guarding against bad things. You know exactly what you need. You know how to ask for it. You have a really clear sense of what you're looking to create, and you have a strategy to make it happen. And you're totally comfortable receiving support, and you have that inner support built up. These are all the things that we work on through the whole course of my Mindful Dating program. And what that looks like is working on yourself alongside other people, having a trusted guide and a mentor, having a community of women who bring compassion and warmth to that journey. You can learn from them and grow alongside them. And when you're in that group, one of the best things that happens is you know you're not alone. You know that nothing about your dating journey is all that unique. Nothing about the way you were hurt by that last guy or the last 5 women that you dated. None of that is unique to you. You know that because you're watching other people go through it with you. There is nothing anyone talks about, feels, or has experienced that they're the only one in the group that has talked about it, felt, or experienced. And the benefit of that is that you get all of those things ticked off your list a lot more easily. You get more grounded and emotionally stable. You get less vulnerable to having your buttons pushed. You're not always on the lookout for the bad thing because you know the good things that you need, and you are super comfortable asking for them. You have a beautiful vision that you can feel in your bones of the life you're looking forward to creating, and you have a plan for how you're going to make it happen, and you have a whole team on your side. So if you're working on yourself, those are the things that I totally recommend. And if you would like to get there faster and farther, so they say if you want to go faster, go alone. If you want to go farther, go together. If you want to go farther, faster, think about the Mindful Dating Intensive, because that is a place where people make just like kind of mind-blowing advances in that self-work that they do. And they end up at the end of it feeling like, oh, wow, I'm so much more prepared to date. I would totally have not gotten here on my own. This would have taken me forever to get here on my own. So that's what I want for you, because, and this is the thing, I was talking to someone else about this earlier today. Part of the reason I'm so dedicated to this is that I believe a world with more love in it is a better world. I believe that when you fall in love, you make the world a better place. When you find your partner, the world is better. And even before then, when you heal your heart, when you can let go of the pain, when you're not carrying the past with you everywhere you go, when you are emotionally available and you can let love in, and then you finally do, the world is a better place. The world is a little brighter. You have more to offer the world. You are more emotionally available to everybody. And that's the world I want to live in. I want to live in a world where everybody is fulfilled and happy, feels lovable, and is loving freely. And that's why I do this. And I would be so honored if you listen to this and this resonates and you're like, yep, I think I want to give this a try. If you would just reach out and book a free call. No obligation. Seriously, not a hard sell. I'm never a hard sell person. I kind of trust your inner wisdom and your inner knowing if I'm your person or not. Never a hard sell. But I would really love to hear a little bit about your dating struggles, what you see getting in the way, where you want to go, and talk about whether this is right. And obviously, if I think we're a match and if you agree, we can then talk about what it looks like to work together, but no harm in getting a free consult. So that's kind of what I have today, is to tell you a little bit about doing that work on yourself, being open to doing that work on yourself in the company of others with a trusted mentor and guide who has a lot of tools to help you with. I hope you have enjoyed this. I would love to know if this resonates with you. Please drop me a comment or a question. And just so you know, for whatever reason, I am not picking up comments from Facebook on StreamYard these days. So if you've dropped any, I'm not seeing them. I will answer them when I hop off this call. In the meantime, y'all take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.